ZL Entertainment.
Greetings, boys and girls. I'm Andy Tion from ZL Entertainment. Today, we're here for some more Witcher, and well, this is kind of a long video because I'm trying to make my way back to doing, well, not make my way back, but I'm kind of doing a new way of Let's Playing, where I try to do the whole game in one video. And since I did not start The Witcher in that kind of, I did not start it when I started the idea. That is a very weird way to say it. Anyways, I just want to kind of get rid of the little LPs of the old way, so to speak. So there's this Saints Row 4 and Super Mario 64, all of which are the little stragglers of how I used to do the LPs for most of my time. Now I want to do like just the full game in one video, or as close as possible, because YouTube now has a 12-hour limit, which sounds like a lot, but it's not a lot for a video game. And they apparently just did that recently, like right before I started uploading these. So, yeah. I'm also going to be re-uploading all my past games that I did, the past LPs, as close to as one video as possible. I will say that this is post-commentary. In this session that now ends up to be the whole video, I had originally commentated, and I was getting quite frustrated with the game because I really do hate the swamps in the game. I'll be quite candid on that. But and because of that, I don't want people to think I hate the game, So I decided this is probably one of the few games I'm gonna have to do post commentary on. But when I looked at all the footage, this game also did not have this session did not have my commentary, which is probably a good thing, so nobody did hear my frustrations. That sounds like anger. Because I really do not want people to think I hate the game. I do like it. It's just this section of the game I really don't like. So yeah, post commentary. I'm not sure what I was doing here. Obviously, I was looking up what I needed to do because it had been probably like 3 or 4 months since I had last played the game. But yeah, right now we need, if I remember right, we need to go to the druid location. I think something happened to my controls, so I had to fix that. The reason why I dread going to the druid location is because there's a powerful enemy that I thought was right here, but it's actually over there. And it'll kill us many times, I believe. Yeah, expect this to happen a lot. I'll probably cut out a lot of it. I'm kind of editing and commentating at the same time, so we'll see how that goes. I'll show that one death, but any other after that I won't. I'll still commentate, but I'll edit it out if I die, so you won't even hear it. You won't even hear me right now if we do die here. But just in case, I'll still commentate. So these things are obviously need the firepower, but even then they're difficult to take out. So I decided to run away thinking that'll help. But in the long run it doesn't really help. Because this game does not have a regeneration. Yep, definitely be cutting that out. Alright, well. Yeah, that'll definitely be cut out, and this might not be. Well, it might be since I'm going right back to it. Or no, I'm running past it like the smart thing to do. When you first go to the swamp, you're not usually high enough level to take care of these things. Although I think I was once. I don't think I did anything different, but whatever. Maybe I got the right perks at the right time. But this is... I finally remembered that the best thing to do in the swamps when you first come here is to just run through it. And that's what we're doing. I really hate the swamps, and honestly, seeing them right now just makes me want to click off the video, but this wouldn't be a let's play if we did. That's another thing I really hate about the game, is you can't, like, go somewhere else. You know, just because someone's trying to attack you. That doesn't make sense. Like, if someone's attacking you, you can run inside of a building before, you know, I forgot the fancy word right now because, you know, the swamps suck. But yeah, it's just really weird. I just recently recorded, just finished recording Elder Scrolls Arena last night. The video itself will be uploaded before this video, but at least with that game, if an enemy is coming after you, you can leave and go somewhere else. And that's a really old game. That game is 30 years old this year. Not sure which month, but this year. So that's kind of cool. That game was annoying as hell as well, though. In fact, that game was way more annoying than this game. That was like one of the few good things I liked about that game. The Elder Scrolls has come a long ways.
Huge trees, strange symbols, tamed beasts, even a dryad. This must be the Druid's Grove.
Yep, this is the Druids. You want my sword? Yeah, I'm not sure why he brought his sword out.
Gwynblade.
Gwynblade. I believe that means
Gwynblade.
White Wolf.
What's that mean?
White Wolf.
You know me?
Your name precedes you.
Of course
You
it
may know
does.
more than me.
We're just that
I
awesome.
remember nothing of my past.
Some things are better forgotten.
No,
Nevertheless,
they're not.
I do feel sorry for you.
Can you help?
Sadly, no. Perhaps my sisters from Brokilon could help.
Brokilon?
They're far away.
What a weird name.
Tell me about
But tell me
Brokilon.
about it.
Brokilon is the Dryad homeland, a wilderness untouched by humans. Those surrounding Brokilon wish to claim our forests, and thus humans and Dryads fight continuously along
Well,
the
you can
borders.
Who
cut
is
down
winning?
trees and then
Our
replant
archers
them.
are matchless. But how long can we resist the brute force that rendered humans
I have a
the world's
friend
rulers?
who, their dad owns a
So you agree with the
firewood
elves and
company,
dwarves
basically,
fighting for independence?
and they cut down
Those children?
old trees, but then they
They
like
have long
plant
forgotten the struggle's meaning,
2 new
craving
trees, I
blood
believe
and
it is,
revenge,
or is
having
it
only
3?
contempt for humans.
But yeah, every
They
tree you
fail
cut
to
down,
see they
just
begin to
plant 2
resemble
more,
the humans themselves.
or 3.
We merely defend
It's
our
not that
home,
difficult to
Gwynblade,
do.
and have no ambition of driving humans into the sea.
Why don't you reach a compromise with the humans?
Ha! You treat concessions as weaknesses.
Well, I don't know
and
what
believe acts of
confession
goodwill are
means,
traps.
except for a
You'll
confession
never
stand,
accept
so...
our otherness.
Tell me about your lives.
Broccolon is our home.
I
the
think
Flynn, our lady.
The Witcher
We
is a
live in
bit
harmony with the forest, flowing through the
cliche
thickets
with
and
its
knowing the
humans
forest's
being the bad
secrets.
people,
Are you happy?
supposedly.
Like humans, we have joys and sorrows,
In my
though
game,
our end is near.
or in my fantasy
the war with the
world,
humans
humans
continues,
are like
and our
the
numbers
most
diminish.
peaceful race, and it's the elves that are like,
Tell me
well,
about
mostly the high
Broccolon
elves.
is
High elves are
our
really,
That's sad.
the high elves are really annoying in my game.
What are you doing here?
'Tis a secret. Though I'm taking the chance to visit this grove of old, beautiful
The trees here aren't that great. I don't
Farewell.
understand what the hype is about these trees here. They're not that great. I mean, the tree to our left is kind of
What is
alright,
it?
but it's not that great either.
Aren't those wyverns?
Wyverns indeed.
How did you master them?
Tamed them through hard work. I guarantee they're not drugged or their wings clipped. See for yourself.
Any accidents?
Only the fool who tried to brush a wyvern's teeth.
I see.
Was that supposed to be
Any
funny?
other questions?
So I was looking up the
Farewell.
difference between wyverns and dragons, and apparently they're pretty much the same thing. But the wyverns here are like really small. I don't actually like dragons. I think they're overrated. They're kind of boring looking.
Welcome
The
to
wyverns
Druid's
are
Grove,
pretty
traveler.
much the same
Greetings.
thing, except for
Marvelous place. I come here when I need to think, and the peacefulness helps clear my mind.
their
Even a witcher is welcome
forearms are
One
also
more
their
word about
wings.
my accepting
So
my otherness and finding the home I never had. And
very
I'll cry
small
like a
difference.
here. Sarcasm only
I
serves
think
to expose
drakes
your
are cooler.
inhibitions.
They look
Ooh,
cooler.
An elven psychoanalyst.
Combine a
I
drake
spent
with
decades among
a
humans.
wyvern,
I
and you
find your
basically
kind as
have a
complicated
dragon.
as the schematics of a flail.
Decades. Live that long among humans, you're bound to become more like them than you ever wanted to be.
Are you speaking from experience, Monster Slayer?
A sharp wit. I'm Geralt.
I
My
have
name's
no idea
Jacob.
why they're trying
Let's
to
talk.
out-talk each other.
Yes.
It's kind of retarded, but you know, whatever.
I'm looking for witcher's work.
Then I'll ask you a favor. I need a letter delivered to Vizima, where I'm not welcome. As a witcher, you should find little difficulty tending to monsters on the way and avoiding trouble with the guards at the city gates.
Who's the letter to?
I'd be obliged if you could deliver it to Vivaldi, a dwarf
The
living
musician?
in town,
No?
and then
Okay.
return his reply to me.
I'll do it. I'm going to Vizima anyway.
Of course
Thank
we
you.
are. Pretty easy quest to do, but I don't think we do it right just yet.
Yes,
With this game, I kind of like clicking every
What can you tell me about
choice
you?
option just to make sure
let
they're
us
not
pray
blue
beneath
anymore.
the trees, for the
So I
trampled
always
heather,
find it
for
annoying.
blood that has been shed, for fate that has been destroyed.
I'm not sure I'm understanding this.
For death inflicted by sword, for the pain
Apparently,
of others,
this rebel
and
is
our
also a
own.
poet.
What can you tell me?
For the trap for blood, for
Nice.
Yeah. So I think there's a place of power just here where we actually get another power. I don't know if I remember that right just yet, or if I remember it later.
You drew.
No, we cannot. Rather, we live by its rhythms.
You train wild animals. And you can stir up a storm?
No, I mean yes, but not by force.
Well, I need a tempest with thunder and lightning. Can you create one?
I can, but as I said,
I'll pay. Call it a donation toward the prevention of further devastation of the environment.
500 orens.
That's too much.
Things are getting more expensive, and we have to live somehow.
That is quite expensive.
500 it is.
Come back when you're ready.
Getting gold in this game is kind of difficult unless you want to just sell everything. Although by the next chapter I'm able to get a decent amount, but it's like really hard work to get money in this game. You never feel like, you always feel really poor, basically. And it's not a good feeling. But this isn't a game you can roleplay, so it doesn't really matter in the end. Alright, let's just continue on our way then. Finding some more alchemical ingredients. It's kind of funny, I love alchemy in video games, but I don't like the alchemy in this game. This is one of the few, if not the only game I don't like alchemy in it. It's kind of amusing, but that's just how it goes, you know. And the combat is pretty weird in the game as well. I don't really like the combat. Oh, and because I played this game just continuously, like when I was playing Arena, I kept trying to press the spacebar to pause the game. And I still do that. Like I'm having like flashbacks to The Witcher and trying to pause the game with the spacebar. Kind of amusing. At least I didn't waste too much time getting this new power. I believe this is my favorite power. No, it's not. I don't like it at all. Well,
Return in the morning.
it's the least of my 3 favorites. There's 2 that I just don't like and I do not use at all.
Return in the morning.
But yeah.
Good night.
Yeah, I didn't like how they're just like still awake. At least if they were asleep, then I'd be like, okay, but they're not asleep. They're not even trying to be asleep. They're just walking around like, see you later. It's like, no, I have business right now. I don't remember if I wanted to get anything done at that moment though, but still a little like thing that is annoying. But it doesn't take away too much of the fun, so in the end, I guess it doesn't really matter too much. I believe I go to Vizima, maybe? I can't remember. No, I don't think I do. I'm honestly not sure what I'm doing right now. Probably one of the bad qualities of a post-commentary is not knowing what you did in the past. Because there's no way in hell I'm gonna pre-watch all these and then commentate on it. It's not like I script anything. I never have. I probably will with like skits or something. Eventually I go to the path there was that fork in the road where I went is kind of to the left. There's one to the right, and that's where I eventually start going down. Much better option to go that way because there's a lot less. In fact, there's no enemies that way. I can see like snapshots of, you know, I'm watching the editor right now, and I can see snapshots of what's to come, and it looks like I'm still in the swamps for the next 10 minutes, so I'm not sure what happens and why I go back to the druids. Maybe I do quickly go to Vizima and it happens so quickly that there's not a snapshot of it. And finally we have to fight because we can't get anything done unless we do. Well, there comes a point in time when those enemies just are absolutely easy to take care of. That'll be something I think you guys will enjoy. It was the group fighting, of course. And that's what I went for. I have, The Witcher has like a game guide or something. I believe that's what it's called. Yeah, it's called a game guide, and so it kind of gives you an idea of all the quests that you can do and which quests to do, so you can like do other quests and make sure you don't cancel out any other quests. Although you can cancel out one quest which I already did, and then there's a second quest that I do cancel out as well because the game was being weird. I don't think that's in this episode. Might be the next. Alright. I think we go back now. I think this is when I start using this pathway because I realize it's much safer. I don't think any enemies ever spawned in this area when I went on it. Maybe like one.
A cave entrance.
Indeed so, you've been by it many times before. I am quite curious as to what I'm trying to do. Apparently, I want to destroy some enemies here. But at this current point in time, I'm not very good at taking out these bloodsuckers, or technically walking leeches. Also, they explode, which kind of helps kill you. Yeah, it makes sense that once you click on it, it would unpause it, and then you would be able to keep going. Well, you know, keep going as in keep playing the game. The swallow potion is trash. as you can tell right there. It's not a heal, it's just a regeneration. Um, but anyways, yeah, that's me annoyed there. um, but later I find out that there's an actual
Village.
heal.
I've not seen him.
The brickmakers claim you changed children into dryads.
Fools! Only adults are accepted here.
So
Children
what
would
happened
only
there
trouble
was
us.
I paused
As for
the
dryads,
recording
ask them yourself.
and waited
Farewell.
until the daytime and started recording again. So yeah. And apparently she's one of the suspects of who stole
I
the
seek a
kid.
boy. The brickmakers claim druids seized him to transform him into a dryad.
Only girls can be dryads, no boys here.
Just wanted to make sure.
I will show you where young dryads come from, but
Yes.
I wish to remain faithful to the Brokilon tradition. We only take in men to procreate just the strong and agile. We want the girls to seed to inherit their father's fortitude.
Of
I've
course.
been accused of many things, but lack of physical prowess is not among them.
I believe you. But the ritual requires a man to prove himself a skilled hunter. Bring me a wolf's pelt.
A wolf's pelt? That's easy. This is so you can get it on like Donkey Kong with her, but apparently she doesn't want you, I guess. I've been able to get her before, but
You have proved yourself a skilled hunter.
yeah, this time
One
she was
obstacle
being
remains.
weird.
What's that?
Witchers are sterile. We dryads don't acknowledge intimacy without procreation.
Intimacy without procreation can
But doesn't really it doesn't really matter, so it doesn't it's not important to the game,
couple
basically.
entwined might mix the soil they lie upon, giving improved plant growth.
Nonsense. Come back when you're wiser. I'm still angry. I'm still angry.
I think at that point I just called her a cunt because I mean it was basically the game's fault, but still she was being all cunty-ish. I said very beautiful words and she shat all over them, and I'm not into German stuff, so she could die for all I care. But yeah, like I said, it doesn't matter. That stuff just only goes to show how Geralt still gets a bit of loving once in a while, but he wasn't loved by her, apparently. Or rather, isn't loved by her. This is one of the quests
you?
that I fail.
Geralt the Witcher, and you.
Yaren,
Can we
speak.
any job?
Despite the danger,
So nothing.
perhaps.
Um,
But the Begatic plant should be
well, I
banned
should
to
say
stop the
right
drug it
now,
makes it.
anytime
I
I
wade through mud.
quickly
You
skip
don't know what
through
Begatic
any of the
looks like,
dialogue, it's because
Okay,
I'm
Great.
very
Begatic
annoyed
blossoms look like
or
after those
frustrated
I'll
at the
deliver
game.
Are you
No, we scare off wood.
work for you?
We're independent.
You the chief?
Yes. Without me,
I see.
with danger,
But yeah,
Get along.
nothing but a
just skipping
I'm
right
supposed-
through all this
Right.
stuff.
speak.
The
you
plans
no.
aren't too difficult
Work for
to
you.
We're
get.
Don't you
These
do these?
the remain.
Well, no, I don't know. They're in areas that are difficult to get, but for now, later on, I just run through the swamp area, in the middle of the swamp area, as I usually do. But that's usually in the next chapter. These plants are in an area that I do not want to go to because we're not strong enough for it yet, sadly. But yeah, doesn't matter. There we go. I waited till it was night. And we're gonna go... I believe we're gonna go back to the city. I think I was waiting here for a quest or something, but I can't remember. Oh yeah, I wanted to show that off. The girl took the present and then told you to fuck off. And I was saying right there, it's like, just like girls nowadays, or something like that.
Take me to the...
Well, thankfully not all girls, but this feels like most of them.
I wouldn't have...
But yeah, we're in the city. Well, part of the city. And, we can't finish the quest with Lou Varden yet, because he's here during the mornings, or probably during the day. There comes a time when those guards there aren't even there anymore, and nobody's here, at nighttime at least. I don't even think the guards are there during the day, I can't quite remember. Either way, we can't get rid of the Lou Varden quest yet, so we have to go and do other quests, which I can't remember what we're gonna do. And we probably don't even look at the journal because I'm looking at the game guide most of the time. The game guide is good for someone like me who is very organized. That's one of the problems for me with blind Let's Plays. I do love watching blind Let's Plays because it's really fun to watch somebody play a game for the first time and get really like annoyed and angry and frustrated. I don't know why it's amusing, but it kind of is. And that's why I like playing blind Let's Plays, because I know many people are going to find my anger and frustration amusing. But also at the same time, I don't like doing blind Let's Plays, because on the other hand, while it's amusing to some people and I like to entertain people, on the other hand, it's very annoying because I'm very organized and I like to know in what I want to do, like what quest order I want to do. And with games I've played, I can do that, but with a blind LP, it's kind of hard to do that. Because if you play a game for the first time, it can't be truly blind unless, you know, you're doing it for the first time and you're not looking up a guide, unless it's kind of really necessary. But yeah, only if it's necessary. But so there's, on one hand, I like to be organized, even with the first time playing a game, you know, a blind Let's Play. But I also like it to be a blind Let's Play, so I don't want to know what I need to do. So one of the things I do like to do is have a list of all the quests that you need to do, so I know what to look forward for. That wasn't proper English. I like having a list of quests I need to. That way I know what I'm looking forward to. But thankfully, this game is not blind, so I can just have the game guide out. I actually had the game guide out when I first played, I believe. No, actually, I think it was the second time. I can't quite remember. That's quite alright. We've got some enemies here. The city's not safe at night. There are guards in the city, but so that's cool and all. Our friend died. Well, I don't know about friend, but he was helping us out, so that's, in a world like this, that's good enough for me. Alright, well. We are getting, so one of the quests is to get, dog tallow, so we'll definitely be getting rid of the dogs, or some of them. I think we need 5 or 6. On it, instead of like opening up the container, you can press control, and that will get whatever's in the area immediately. And also tab. Tab will bring up the icon, how do you, it's not the icons, it's the names of whatever. Like you can see it's a dog, so if you press shift, that will come up immediately. And it will stay there as long as you keep holding tab. So I like to press control. So when I play this game, I press the control button with my pinky, and I press the tab with my ring finger, and then I press the W to move around, and then I have my index finger free to do anything else I need.
I have a message for you from Yevon.
Yevon? I don't need to read it. I know what he wants. Witcher know that whether elf, human or dwarf, they all want the same thing.
She-dwarves?
How witty. Shove off. Come back later for my answer to the elf.
The obvious answer would have been gold, but I always like pissing him off. This Let's Play is kind of indicative. Is that the right word? Indicative. I think it's.
Have you finished your
I think there's the
answer to
A in
Yevon?
there.
Yes, here it is.
But
The elf
this
will
playthrough
surely
is basically
reward
how I always
hope
play
you're
the
right.
game. I always choose the same side. I think I once tried the other side and I didn't agree with it. But yeah, that's one of the cool things is when someone says come back later for whatever, you can usually just go out. In fact, I think you can always go outside the door and then just return and, like, immediately, and you'll get the item, which is good because if you're doing a particular quest, you don't want to wait around. You want to get that going. I have to say, this game is not really roleplay worthy. I think I tried earlier being able to, like, I was like trying to eat. I think I kept food in my inventory. I kept drinks, and I was gonna be like, this is what his food and drink of choice are. But it just doesn't work out. I believe I eventually sell all that stuff in chapter 3 or 4. Chapter 3 is the longest chapter in the game. chapter 5 is probably the shortest. Well, chapter 5 kind of leads into the epilogue, and the epilogue is just one quest. That brings me to a point. I don't know if I was going to say it now or later, though. I think I'll tell you about it later. Maybe. I don't think it matters about waiting. So, I believe that I have played this game, like, beat the game, only once, maybe twice. And this would have been the twice, I believe. Because there's a lot of this that I don't remember. Like, the whole last 5th chapter, there's many parts I don't remember. When we get to those parts, that's when I will comment on those parts that I don't remember. But there's many parts towards the end of the game that I don't remember. And the parts that I do remember, a lot of times I don't remember everything about it. So that to me makes me think that I've only beat the game once, maybe twice. And this was the 2nd or 3rd time. I believe we need one more dog tallow. Let's see if I'm right about that.
Co-op existence.
Nope. I guess I needed 2 more. Now I need only 1 more. I could see like some people not wanting to do this quest if they like dogs, but I don't really like dogs, so I don't really care. I'm more of a human person than an animal person. I like humans more than
You didn't
animals,
see me.
which is weird,
You didn't see me.
since nobody else seems to like humans, which is, to me, even more strange. But if I had to choose an animal, I would go with the feline species, because they're amusing. One thing I've noticed is, it's not like this all the time, but it feels like all the extroverted people I've met are dog people,
Alpha.
and all the introverted people I've met are cat people. But there are a few exceptions. My one of my best friends he might have been an extrovert during parts of his childhood life and teen life, but I think for the most part he's an introvert. But he's always had a dog, and he's more of a dog person. Whereas I'm definitely an extrovert, and I'm a cat person. So,
Welcome. Make yourself at home.
I do remember my comment on that. This is probably one of the few times that she's just really nice. Usually she's a cunt. She's usually like, get out of here. There's some things you want to get from here. There's a quest later that they ask for like pickles and lard or whatever.
Welcome. Make yourself at
So
home.
it's better to get it now instead of getting it when you're drunk.
Welcome.
Yeah, she likes to talk to you a lot. And thankfully nobody in this game cares if you steal their stuff. And then we can finally talk to Shondi. I like to call her Shandi because I was recording Saints Row 4 at the same time, and there's a Shandi there, but Shandi in that game has a U in it, and the Shandi here is just Shani without a D at all. But originally I thought it was... wow, the game kind of messed up there, I guess. Sound went out and messed up my commentating flow.
Finally, you found me.
Looks like it.
How'd you get past the old hag?
That nice lady downstairs.
She was actually
She's been
nice
right
for
hell.
change. But yeah, I thought this girl's name was just
Old people are like that.
Shandi
At least my rent is low.
without the U.
Doctors are little into marriage.
There's also no D, so
You
she
stay.
needs the D,
Someone
if you know
had
what I
to.
mean.
Anyway,
Yes?
But I'm still gonna call her Shandi
Shani, I wanted to ask you something.
Mm-hmm.
because it's really close.
I heard you saw Cohen shortly before he died.
That's right. How did you know?
Because I'm
I found
intelligent.
his
I'm a
sword.
psychic.
He died during the battle at Brenna, on my operating table.
You were a medic at Brenna?
I worked
It's
alongside a
Brina?
surgeon named Rusty.
Like
Best
Saw
doctor I ever knew.
Brina.
New?
He died when the Catriona plague erupted, in Maribor. Though a halfling, he could operate like no one else. He made everything seem simple. Stitch red to red, yellow to yellow, white to white, and everything will be all right.
Uh-huh.
You wouldn't understand.
Sorry, Shani, I didn't know him.
Well, it makes
Do you know
sense.
anything about this
but
sword?
No, but you should ask the dwarf, Sultan Chive. His knowledge of weapons is unmatched.
Zoltan's a pretty cool name, I gotta say. I mean, his last name's not that great, but Zoltan just sounds really cool. Of course, I like the
Shani,
letter Z,
I need
so...
your-
An odd...
Since I started investigating Salamandra,
Okay, though, I'm no coroner. You'll have to interpret our findings. We'll meet in the evening. Until then, gather as many clues as possible.
I'll sniff around.
Get the body
Bet you
from the
will,
gravedigger.
Wolf.
We'll meet at the hospital in the evening.
This is one of the quests that I like to make
How do
sure I
find
get done
information to help
properly,
the autopsy?
which I think
Ask
I've
Vincent
always
Mice,
done
but
except for
also look
once.
for books on anatomy and pathology.
Because it's... I don't want to incriminate anybody that is innocent, and I'm not going to do things half-assed like a lot of people do in this world. In the real world, I should say.
Shani,
Because a lot
I
of
wanted to
innocent
talk.
people get in trouble. And I don't
What
like
is it?
that. And I didn't want to
Sometimes
do that
dream
in the
about
game.
Battle of Brenna, the massacre.
A mass
Sorry.
acre.
But that's it. I'm not sorry. I wake up refreshed, and it's like I'm used to suffering. Does that make sense?
Not really.
does.
Thanks.
It just means you finally
Sometimes it's
got
good to
used to
share.
your depression, I
mention it.
guess. I don't know. Or maybe you're refreshed that you're not living there anymore. Our inventory is full. Full. Oh yeah, we need to tell Vasca about the Lost Lamb. That quest isn't completed until chapter 3. After a certain quest, I forgot which one. Flowers and Gold, I think I do either by the end of chapter 2 or sometime in chapter 3. And the second quest that guy, the dwarf, has for us, that's the one I fail. The game was being stupid, I guess. I don't quite remember. I also like how you can show primary and secondary quests, so because I like doing the secondary side quests first. But in this game, you can't really do that. You kind of it should just be known as quests because you kind of there's some of the side quests that you can do on their own, like the contracts and the jobs, stuff like that should be called side quests. But everything else should just be the normal quest because you kind of need to do a normal quest before you can do a side quest. So to me, it feels like I don't know, they just feel like they're all normal main quests. I think that's a difficult thing for people to do in gaming is I don't think some game designers know exactly how to do what is a side quest and what is a main quest. I think that's going to be difficult for some game designers. Thankfully for the fantasy RPG that I've been working on, it was actually originally based on a book that I wrote, and so I wrote out the whole story is the main quest line, and everything else is a side quest that helps you along the way or whatever. I think what people consider main and side quests is like the basics of like what quests can you do in the game, like what quests do you need to do to finish the game, and what quests you don't have to finish. I think that's how most people do it, but I don't do it like that. I usually do the main quest as the story. The main quest is the story, I should say, or clarify.
Who's this?
This wasn't our deal.
I tried
Relax.
doing this quest
Just a witcher.
earlier, but
Surely you're no witchers or golems. No will of their own. Follow orders quick and easy.
wasn't
no
able to, so I'm
complaints.
glad we're able to do
Right,
this now.
Geralt?
Of course.
Right.
See? Nothing to be afraid of. You didn't
Vincent
exactly
seems
come
like he's a
alone.
dick, but he's actually a pretty
Now
cool
let's
person.
deal.
I don't trust him. Heard he was a fucking murderer, cut up over a dozen of our people.
Let's not play who killed who. That's the past. We're interested in the future.
Indeed.
Your future. Which will be unpleasant if Javed learns you cheated him. And believe me, he'll learn shortly if you don't start talking.
You bluffing? You don't scare me.
Enough. Where's Javed? Where are the Witcher's secrets? Spit it out before I feed you to the rats.
Vincent, stop him. I know nothing. I was assistant to Salamandra's accountant. Javed stopped trusting me. I don't know where he is or what he intends.
The professor?
I don't know. He went off somewhere.
Bullshit. You need encouragement.
You promised me protection in exchange for me testimony. On the mother's grave, I know nothing. Stop him. You're a cop. This is murder. You're gonna stand by and watch?
No, I'm leaving. Besides, I know you had a part in murdering Raymond's family. Witcher, make it quick. Imbeciles.
Time to die.
Yeah, I don't like the idea of killing these guys if they were trying to... Well, the one guy who's talking, he was trying to do something good for a change, but... Vincent wanted us to kill, so... That is one downside with games like these. I hate when there's not, like, any options. But oh well. I hear that the Fallout series lets you have options on how you want to do things. At least the first two. I don't know if Bethesda continued the multiple ways to finish a quest kind of mechanic. It's an interesting idea. I'm not sure if... Well, I haven't done that for my own game yet, but there's really no need because it's so story based. Yeah, we can't get the remains. That, I believe, taught me to not destroy enemies so close to walls or doors, especially doors. I think by destroying them near walls doesn't really matter as much. And in this area you can get another quest, but the quest it hasn't started, I guess. And I was able to get into the door before the enemy attacked. At least I thought I heard a noise. Yeah. I like how I'm just like watching them attack.
Toughies.
So I believe this is the part where some bullshit happened. I was trying to attack the fletter, and so it almost killed me, so I ran away and like, okay, you guys are guards, help me. And then all of a sudden they started trying to kill me, and I'm like, what the hell? And so that almost made me think that maybe I shouldn't even help people out anymore. Since this is a fail, I normally wouldn't have shown it, sorry. But I had to because it was so stupid that I don't know what the hell happened. I don't know why they decided to attack me. But, that's the last time I try helping people out. At least in this game. But yeah, that was mega bullshit.
Boring.
And of course, I wanted to get my revenge on the people for you know, what they did to me previously. Normally I was gonna actually edit this out originally, but then I decided that I'm just gonna leave it in because it's kind of needed after what happened. It's kind of a, what is it called? It's quite cathartic after what happened previously. I can't remember, what potion is an instant heal.
Oh, I'm innocent.
I hurt no one. Please have mercy.
There we go. Got rid of all those assholes. Time for these bitches over here.
I'll gut you, bastard. Mercy. Damn it, I like this.
And I believe that ends. No, there's only a couple more people.
Save me. Please have mercy.
Nope. Come on.
Oh, I'm innocent.
There we go. I believe we took all the assholes out. Yeah, that was very cathartic. And I'm glad to have done it. We also have a key for Ram's Meat Place, where I also wanted to kill him as well, I believe, but I don't think I did. Oh, I think this is where I try to. It's one of those I'll kill him and then reload. But I don't think you can. Yeah, because when you try to kill him, you just talk to him instead. So I decided to just steal all his stuff. Or I guess I didn't. I think I was going to, but I remembered that I have a full inventory, which is quite annoying. And all the people respond as if nothing happened anyway, so it doesn't matter. Alright.
Made up.
Now we can sell all the junk we have. Not the lard, though. The dog tallow we want for a quest. Yeah, I was keeping the red wine, or the white wine, or whatever the wine was, as a, like, Geralt's favorite drink, you know? Also, sometimes people want you to do a drinking game with them, so that's also what I was gonna save the stuff for, but eventually I just stopped caring. That's also why I had the ham sandwiches as well, but eventually I didn't even care about that either. Alright. I believe I looked at the time to see if we can do the ghost guy, the ghost quest. But I think it was too late. I didn't notice the time, sadly. I just noticed myself looking at it, but I didn't see what the time actually was. Are we gonna talk to Jethro? No. I don't think there's much we can do now for nighttime quests. I think we're gonna be resting. That's what's gonna go on. But first, let's loot the food, basically. I guess I didn't rest. What am I looking for? Okay. So I was gonna rest, I just went outside for some weird ass reason. Who knows? Who knows? I believe now we can talk to the city. Well, I don't remember what his title is, but the guy who wanted the dog tallow. And I don't think we can get into the cemetery just yet. In fact, I don't think we get into the cemetery for quite some time. I believe close to the end of the chapter. Gravedigger. Not the city gravedigger, just gravedigger.
What do you need?
hear about?
Yes?
I have 6 jugs of dog's lard.
I use the lard on the cask.
You seem to know a lot about the deaths in the city. Ever help with investigations?
Sometimes I inform Raymond about the more interesting dead men.
I don't trust Raymond. He's hiding something.
Raymond? You wouldn't find a more loyal man.
He seems to be struggling with this case. I should help. Will you let me inside the cemetery?
City authorities prohibited it.
How can I change your mind?
I'd need Captain Mice's permission.
No other way to sway you?
Actually, I have a terrible debt with Toller. Clear.
Yeah, those two ways do not work because both of those people are being complete cunts about it, sadly. So,
Examining remains is an art.
I want
City.
How can I?
I'd need
No other way.
Actually,
but yeah, sadly, that's why we don't get in this soon, because those two people are absolute assholes. So we get in there much later. At least in the next episode, I'm pretty sure. Well, 50 more minutes, maybe. We might be able to get there in this episode, but I doubt it. And now we can, I'm pretty sure we're gonna go see Lou Varden. And that's gonna be some fun, because we can finally get rid of that quest.
Like the look of me?
You're okay. You're okay, I guess. I almost said "okay," but that's not a real word. What I should do for containers like that is take the item and then drop it down on the ground so it can restock with new
The dog
loot.
is safe now.
I knew you'd do it. Here's your payment.
Thanks.
Yes?
How's business?
You think me a seller of...
I see.
You're confused.
Let's talk.
Yes?
I have 500.
I sadly relinquish it, but my reputation would...
Too bad you can't barter in this game. So we received 400 for the thing, and then we had to give him 500, so it was a net loss of 100 gold. Well, you know, whatever. And there we can go and see Zoltan about that. And we had to talk to Vincent. And we have these, which I'm not gonna bother with yet. I might talk to Shandi, but I don't know. Alright. I believe it's time to go look for Zoltan. Change of mind, I guess, and looks like I'm deciding to.
Ready?
How many?
Looks like I'm deciding to go talk to Vasca, I suppose. I might do a few other things here, but I don't know what that would be. I don't see the point.
A new customer. Come aboard.
Hello. I'm not. They call. Well, none. Yeah. I'm looking for work.
Ah, swords. I suspect I know the
Yeah,
type
we
of
don't
work
do
you
his
seek.
quest for a while.
Perhaps you could have...
Piss off. I'm looking.
Of course. Grows here and there in the swamp, though it's rare.
Know any other?
If you grind it with beast fangs and douse the mixture with...
I was hoping for something. Take care.
Indeed. Oh, so that's how I learned the perfume. Which I think I do make once, but it's useless, so... you can give it as a gift, though, but it doesn't really matter. So I basically came back to the swamp just to talk to her.
The druids didn't take your boy. If I find him, I'll see to his safe return.
The boy is gone.
Prepare for
The water lord.
farewell.
Unless I actually go looking for the flowers, maybe I do. They do have the spots on the map, which is interesting, because there's a lot more of the plants than what they show on the mini-map. Or the main map, I guess. But I don't know. Okay, that's definitely a good idea not to do that, because, man,
Good sir.
getting those plants are
What do you-
difficult as hell. So yeah, I basically spent 5 gold just to
Where do you go?
get rid of that one piece of stuff.
What do you...
I don't know.
What do you...
And we had to give him the flowers, but I didn't know that at that point. I was kind of wondering, like, what the hell does he want?
Ready to go?
I wouldn't.
You know, like, I didn't realize he was the person we were supposed to give the flowers to. And we'll see that a little bit later when we actually complete that quest. Alright, so time to look at all the quests we have and see which one we want to do. I believe I go talk to Zoltan right about now. I'm not sure.
Oh, when will this rain stop?
Indeed. Where exactly are we going?
Your hair's like milk.
I guess I'm looking for Zoltan at the, this quest. I want to get rid of this quest, I remember now. That's the guy we have to talk to get the quest, but I did not know that at the time.
Your mother sucks dwarf cock.
And so he's not here either. Zoltan's not in the bar as much as I thought he would be. I remember him being there a lot, much more than he actually is. But you know, whatever.
And it pours. When will the merchants be allowed back into the city?
Rumors say quarantine will last while the plague.
All right. There he is.
What do you know about my silver sword?
What, me? A simple dwarf?
Shawnee insisted your knowledge of weapons is unequaled.
All right. Silver-plated blade.
Yep.
A steel core.
Indeed.
Suited to a two-handed grip.
Yep.
Decent workmanship. Not perfect.
All right.
I don't know runes for shit.
Thanks.
No problem.
Got a minute?
What's eating you?
I warn you, some philosophy's involved.
The meaning of life, eh?
The evil that witchers fight stems from chaos, from actions aimed at disturbing order. For where evil spreads, order cannot be established. Instead of the light of wisdom, the glimmer of hope.
I almost
and
feel
the
like
glow of
cutting
warmth,
this stuff out because
darkness
his
ensues, and in
monologue
darkness you
here
find
is
nothing but blood,
boring.
fangs, and claws, like in the outskirts.
Nicely put, but as young Cero said to King Verdank on their first date, does it have any practical uses?
The right of witchers to live and function in this world has fallen out of balance.
That's progress.
Shit or...
Vegas, witcher.
Ah, see, that's what I did. I got rid
I'm
of
not...
it.
Let me... It was...
I understand.
Yes?
Got a minute? I warn you. The evil... The right... Shit or... I'm not so sure. That me...
If you want...
Okay.
Yeah?
Got a minute?
What's eating you?
Nothing.
Yes?
Got a minute?
What's eating...
I want the right...
That's
Shit.
I always find this amusing.
I'm not...
Let me tell
Just
you
skipping
something,
through
witcher.
stuff.
Once it was...
That me...
Don't make me angry, because I smack hard when... If you want a scholar's word.
I'm not...
And there we go. We finished The Memory of a Blade.
I can't go back to work.
Yeah, I like getting all the quests out of the log here. There's not much else we can do. I believe we can talk to Vincent, and that's about it. And after that, we had to, like, literally go to the main quest. We might be able to do the last quest I saw. Yeah, I think about talking to her, but I don't think it goes anywhere. Because when you talk to her at the hospital, she always says, come see me when I'm at home. And then when you see her there, there's a chance that most likely she won't talk to you. Alright, well. Who do we talk to now? Oh, okay. I finally realized that we had to talk to the person to get the quest. They didn't have, like, the
Who are you? What do you want?
yellow
I got to admit,
name
I walked
text.
in here out of sheer curiosity.
Curiosity breeds complication, as me mum used to say. May the soil lie lightly upon her.
Though I'm curious why you bear 2 swords on your back.
I'm looking for work, and these are the tools of my trade.
You're a mercenary? Must make good coin. Interesting. I have a proposition for you.
What did you have in mind?
I know of a house that contains a treasure, yet it is haunted, and I'd rather not bother with ghosts. I'll tell you where it is, you get rid of the lost souls, and the treasure we shall split in half.
Sounds good.
Excellent. I'll mark the house on your map and wait here.
See ya.
I like how he says he'll wait here, but then he leaves before we do. Well, I guess we'll go see to that. And I believe the abandoned haunted house is over here. Although I'm pretty sure we do that at night.
Look.
God's.
Alright. Well, he has nothing left for us. Just wanted to make sure. Time to speak to Vincent. And this is where he.
How did things go at the
This is where
warehouse
he
once I
gets
left?
all bitchy and doesn't help us.
Good. I admit I was hoping for a bit more, but it's always a few bandits less.
That's the last time you use me. I'm not a general avenger.
Had no choice, believe me. It won't happen again. You have my word. I guess you plan to continue the investigation.
Don't have a choice.
I can't help officially, but I'll leave you to it.
Uh-huh.
Anything you learn, I'd be glad to hear.
I wanted to talk to you about Salamandra.
Okay.
Someone informed them about my cockatrice contract.
What are you suggesting?
The professor, after you released him.
I got no time. End of conversation.
You let the professor out of prison.
His bail was paid. That's the law.
I get it. Observe the law at all costs. What do you do nights? Meet your boss, Azar Javed?
Nothing unnatural about spending nights in the train.
I see. I've got no real proof, so I'll have to wait to decide.
Sounds like your mountain has turned into a molehill. That's what happens when amateurs try their hand at serious work.
See, he's
If you
just being a
stumble upon
complete
any
dick.
real leads, come by. I'll give you some useful advice. Your reputation precedes you. I heard you killed 3 monsters and brought in proof.
Uh-huh, but that's not why I'm talking
A
to you.
special reward. This runic stone. Use it well. The city should offer more rewards soon.
You ever do autopsies?
What for? Punctured stomachs mean gang warfare. Torn off heads mean beasts. And black tongues mean poison. The first case, we pressure ram's meat. The second, we pass on to the Order or a Witcher. The third, we go to the victim's wife. The culprit 90% of the time. Autopsies are a waste of time.
Alright, we're not done with you.
What if...
Can you get me?
You accuse me, and then you want help?
See it as a way to prove your innocence.
Not a chance in hell. Get lost.
Steady.
I won't help with this vigilante investigation.
See,
The
he becomes a
results are crap.
complete douche. We didn't actually accuse him. We were just asking if that's what he was doing, you know? So this is where I get really pissed off at him. And I vow to kill him off later. But by the time we get there, I don't really care anymore. But yeah, he's a complete dick. So the next choice we go to is Thaler, which he also is being a dick, and we can't get help from him either. So that like changes everything for me.
How can I? His damn investigation.
Because we already proved him innocent, but apparently he just doesn't want to help us, so he can go kill himself also. Well, yeah, at this point I kind of felt like stop playing, or not playing anymore, because it was being a complete fuck-a-bag to me, but, you know, that's how games go. They're not for fun, apparently. They're not for fun. That's what it feels like, anyway.
Humans are strange.
And, going here is part of one of the quests, but I haven't actually done the quest yet. So...
Where's my cat? Alright, so... let's take care of the enemies here. The Graviers are kind of difficult, but they're not too difficult. I think we're able to get rid of them. I don't know about this first try. If it's not the first try, then it's definitely the second try. But I do remember getting them taken care of. Once again, the game messed up on me, so that's cool. Alright. So we have to redo all of that again.
Interesting.
But that's quite alright. I might cut that out now that I think about it. Alright, let's try this out now.
I don't believe my eyes. Another fool seeking treasure.
Indeed.
Hey,
I
boys,
did know.
Found another goose to pluck. A fat one by his looks. Quickly, we'll tend to the elven lass later.
Just one thing.
What?
That was pretty stupid. Hiring a witcher against yourself.
Indeed. That's quite alright. Alright. This is a pretty easy quest. I mean, a lot of them are, but this definitely is one as well. And there we go. Simple. Amazing. I think that guy gave us a key or something. I'm not sure.
I thank you for the rescue, Vatgen.
Okay.
Are you all right?
I don't wish to speak of it. And Tedesen, Terda. I know your language, but not well enough to. Please visit me at home later.
Farewell.
Farfail.
Alrighty then. Let's go and loot. Not really much of a loot here, but whatever. Alright, well, that's taken care of. We can leave. Alright, well, we can continue. We'll be going back to the swamp pretty soon, but before we do that, I think we're gonna finish up the little quest we had there.
Hasn't rained hard in a while.
There's someone down there. I didn't feel like looking down there, but so we're actually going to the swamps right away. Okay. Fair enough.
Damn it.
I believe that I start doing the main quest pretty soon. Because I'm starting to get really stuck and I can't do the side quests anymore.
Take me time.
At least there comes a time when that happens pretty soon.
How many?
Alright. We're here.
Anyone seeking to cross?
We don't help out Gramps yet, but we do. I think we go and do some of the contracts, I guess. But I think we also go to the cave. And I believe I also go to, I'm actually not sure what else I do. I think I do try to get the plants, finally. But I don't think I get them all quite yet. I get some of them. And an enemy pops up, so we can't go in there yet. And we're probably, well, I know we're not, but I was thinking we were gonna die, and we didn't. So, because the other plant kept killing us, and that's when I remembered that was one of the monsters we had to take out. Which we do eventually. Before this chapter ends, because it's a chapter 2 enemy. I believe we're still in chapter 2 at this point. Okay, well, got lost in thought there for a moment. I believe I go to check out this corridor to get it marked off the map, because we will be going here later. But yeah. The wolves are quite easy in this game, as they should be. Looking at you, Arena. And another wolf. Well, I was gonna say another wolf spawns, but I guess it came from the tunnel that you're supposed to go down to go down the cave. I believe we get our contract taken care of pretty soon. I think we need 10 wolf pelts, and we had 2 to begin with. I believe this will give us 8. I'm not quite sure. And I doubt I'm gonna go look up in my inventory right now. But I'll be able to calculate. I do have 8. Holy crap. That was a good, I was trying to remember how many wolves I took out, so I guess I thought decent. I don't want to keep going down here because there's like an enemy here. As you can see, it's a... What is that? Is that a wraith? Yeah, that's a wraith. I'm not sure if I can take them out yet. I might be able to. And of course it sees us, so now we have no choice but to actually fight it. I will say that wraiths are very difficult to take out. There's a point in the game where I get so angry. You know the whole cliche, like, cartoon anger, where the person starts ripping out their hair or ripping out their beard hair? That's actually, like, how angry I got. I think I ripped out a couple of my beard hairs. Well, basically I tugged on my beard because it's something to tug on. This is, of course, why I went to the cave, was for the Sephiroth. Well, that and the wolves, of course, but... So there was 2 reasons. And those 2 wolves over there are all we need to get the wolf contract taken care of. I don't think this is a new power. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it is. That's another one I don't like. That's one of the ones I hate. But I'll look it up after this, I believe. Fun fact. Well, I don't know if it's a fun fact, but it's a fact. I actually just got a 5-pound bag of Smarties. I'm not a huge fan of candy, but I do kind of like Smarties for some weird reason. So that's cool. 5-pound bag of Smarties for $10. Pretty good deal, I say. It'll probably last me like for most of this year. Because like I said, I mean, while I do like Smarties, I'm not a huge fan of like candy sweets. If I want a sweet food, I'll go with like a pastry. Those are the main sweets I like. But candy, meh, not a huge fan of it. I guess we're gonna take out all the wolves. Oh wait, I think one of the wolves here is a one of the trophy wolves, the monsters. So I believe that's another reason why I came here. Quite a great idea of coming here, actually, now that I think about it. Yes, indeed. But, oh wait, no, the wolf's not here. The wolf's in the next chapter. Never mind. Unless they gave us 2 wolves, but I honestly don't remember. Alright, well, that's that, said the fat cat. Not sure if the mushrooms are useful for anything, but I figured I might as well just get some, just in case. Yes, that actually becomes my favorite side, because it's a shield. That shield is actually, a bit of a spoiler, I suppose, but who cares? That becomes my first fully upgraded spell. There's a couple of the things I don't like is the hex. I didn't like that one. That just not my style. And I also didn't like the one where you draw a circle on the ground and enemies come in the circle, they get damaged, because that just seemed stupid. So those were the 2 that I didn't like and didn't use. The main one I used was the shield and the fire thing. And the third one, I didn't hate it, but I just didn't use it all that much. Oh, that's the, that's where you, knock down stuff or something, where you can stun. I'm not sure what it's called. Pretty soon I start attacking those creatures because one of the contracts is for them, but now that I think about it, the swamps is kind of hard to discern what the quest is for, because the swamps are in the 2nd and 3rd chapters. So I'm not sure if the echinops contract is for this chapter or for the 3rd one. I could look at the game guide and see, but I don't really care too much about it. And soon I believe we will find Siegfried. Now we see all these people here. And there's Siegfried.
Ow! Geralt? By the eternal fire, it's good to see you.
This guy becomes evil.
I suspected it would interest you.
No,
Come back.
I was quite surprised I didn't have it because I pretty much always have that stuff.
What happened?
An echinops thorn pains me under my greave.
Ah.
I fear I cannot walk. We were seeking the golem burial ground.
I know where it is.
Some fool, may the eternal fire illuminate the darkness of his mind, was ranting.
You should get someone to
No time for trivial matters.
Guess the Hydra.
It was a direct order from the Grand Master.
I'm a witcher.
I believe in you, Geralt.
Don't get excited.
We truly...
Wait here.
Yeah, I think everybody knows by this point in time which side I have chosen. In fact, I think you guys knew which side I've chosen at the beginning of the game. I was thinking on... Well, not back then, but I was just now thinking that it would be pretty...
Mother Nature.
Don't make...
It would be pretty cool if I had tricked you guys, kind of done the opposite for the first quest, but I didn't. I should have done that.
Here's 500.
It's no easy feat. I'm no common mage, harnessing storms with absurd stone posts.
Yeah, I'll be waiting.
What posts?
Anyone magical can activate the 3 stone.
Oh, that.
Maybe I can use the posts.
Fortunately, that creature stands beyond the post's range. Experimenting.
How are the posts?
Touch them
So,
while intending to attract a storm.
Well, I'll talk about that
abounds.
when we fight it, which isn't in this episode. I believe it's in the next one.
I know your intention, Witcher, and I would prepare. Imbibe some of those potions, for you'll need them.
A witcher without potions is half a witcher druid.
So we got the storm, which is quite nice. And with the storm, you can kind of see into the distance, like, weird stuff. It's kind of nice.
What is it?
I'm looking.
We can supply the herb at a reasonable price.
Farewell.
So yeah, we can actually buy a bigger tank.
He left to join other elves in...
Where can I...
I wouldn't...
But yeah, we find out that it's valuable. Okay. Oh, that's what that quest is. I forgot. Well, yeah, we're finally getting to...
Odd place.
more parts
Looks like
of the
these
swamp.
giants froze mid-motion. Must have been some time ago.
I'm looking for the dead body in this area. And of course, these enemies prevent us from doing so. With these enemies, you kind of want to step out of the way before they explode, because they explode a poisonous attack. As you just saw there. But that's not what killed me. The 3 behind me is what... Don't worry, we soon get to the point where we can take them out easily. I might pause. I might edit this out if we aren't close to where we were, unless I've already edited that out. Yeah, I'm gonna edit this out.
What is... What is it?
Storm still. Mother.
Don't make...
Farewell.
What?
Here's
it.
What poke? How
I
wait.
What?
I can't work. I'm fair.
Alright, so we're in the general area where I last left off. I kind of passed the golem site this time around. I'm just running straight for the little camp area that the rebel group is located. Thankfully, I remember where it's at from previous playthroughs. And the enemies don't follow you here, although they can technically do so. But for the most part, they don't usually do so. Which is nice, because I don't want to have to deal with them. And we get some beggar tick flowers here. We also get this Fane Weld, or whatever the hell it is. But yeah, some of the beggar ticks is in this location. I think there was 2 of them here, maybe 3. I can't quite remember. Yeah, there's definitely 3 here. Somehow missed this one. Those plants are good for a very good potion. Well, and I think they can be used for many potions, but it's quite useful. We can definitely take on these 2. Or not. So at this point, I'll probably be back. I'll probably have already edited this out. And if not, then I'll probably have unpaused and started recording again when I get back to this place. If not, I'll just do it myself. Oh. Well, I'll show this off for sure. Uh-huh. It's always interesting how I level up. The perks I get kind of always changes. That's like the main way I change how I play the game. Like the choices I do in the game, I usually choose the same choices because that's That's the storyline I agree with. But with getting the perks, I change it around. I've pretty much never used the shield thing, but this time around I did. Because I realized what it's good for, which is pretty much everything. So I definitely beef that up, but I don't think I do it yet. I think that's later. But yeah, that's what I find interesting is the things I do different is how I choose these things, and eventually you just get most of them because you get enough leveling up that you can kind of beef up most of your attributes and at least 2 each of the different swords. And maybe 1 or 2 of the signs you can get max out. Well, maybe not max out, but you know how you have the little circles next to like the words, and then most of them have 2 circles filled. You can get all those circles filled up it'll look like they're filled up, but you didn't actually get all of them. Maybe I do get this right away. I think I do. Because I realized, like, holy crap, this sounds really good. I don't think I've ever used this before in previous playthroughs, but we use it now for sure, because that becomes one of my favored spells to use. And finally I save. Ah, man. Got about 20 more minutes. Alright, Yavin.
Witcher.
You've been busy. A training camp?
We must train to fight effectively.
Makes sense.
Really think this band of warriors can accomplish something?
Can a few stones turn into an avalanche? Can an entire city burn down from just one
only
spark?
if there's snow.
No need to answer. We both know the truth.
Is that a
Yes.
Was that foreshadowing about the spark in the city?
Got more work for me?
You proved apt at moving around the swamp and performed a favor for us.
I went on the
There is
outskirts of
something.
the swamp.
I'm listening.
I've heard that Knights of the Order of the Flaming Rose have entered the swamp. Those fanatics detest non-humans. They'll come for us sooner or later.
What's it to do
so
with
they're
me?
racist, huh?
I'd like you to lead the unit to the Golem burial ground, where Habkarn await with a weapons shipment. If matters turn dire, I expect you to prevent the unit from dispersing.
I'll do it later.
I'm not sure I want...
I want to talk about the other stuff
Yes.
first.
What are you...
None of your concern, Witcher.
An uprising against humans?
Correction. We aim to win the war we're fighting, not start an uprising. And worry about your informing on us? A non-human yourself? Humans will take you no more...
I hope I'll be...
Knowing you, we'll doubtless meet in battle.
Uh-huh. I always choose my own side. That's what I always do.
My own.
Naive as a child.
Time
Don't pretend like you're better than everyone else, you
I have
fucker.
Vivaldi's response.
He sends words, not gold. I suspected as much.
So my effort was in vain?
Quite the contrary, Witcher. Vivaldi either will not or cannot help us. Crucial information regardless. Did he say why he refused?
I skipped through that, but I do remember that he did
Vivaldi's gone bankrupt.
lose his bank.
Interesting.
And he went
The
bankrupt.
bank functions, yet Vivaldi is bankrupt. Thank you, Geralt. I have an idea.
Uh-huh. There we go. We completed another quest. I love doing that. Completing quests.
Yes.
Farewell.
I'm not sure if I do the whole protecting his people yet. but I might, because there's not much else to do. I guess not. Maybe I go with Baker Tick flowers right now. And you can see one right there. It's on the other side of the collapsed tower, but... Alright. So, this is where the fun begins, I guess. The swamps. Quite aggravating. There comes a time when there's not as much enemies, though. So that's quite nice. But for now, there's a lot of enemies. Actually, I believe the enemies change. I think that's what it happens. I think there's more human enemies. And there we go. Quite easy, really. Got some more Drowner Tongues. Eventually we'll get that quest taken care of. The little contract. And here's the final tower that we need to get inside of for the chapter. This is where we will end the chapter at, before waking up in the main part of the city, which is chapter 3 is the longest chapter. It's also, I don't know how to explain how I feel on it. It's a love-hate thing, I guess. It's good and it sucks at the same time. I think it's good because you finally get a new change of scenery after a long time. But at the same time, you don't. You see all the old stuff, but the old stuff is easier now. I don't know. Flowers and gold. Yeah, we need to get that. I really want to get that taken care of. I'm not sure when I do that, though. Because I don't think we have much else for the... Oh, we do have the echinops contract for this chapter. Maybe I go after it now that I've seen it. We also have the Algul contract, but I'm going to probably finish that up later. Alright, well, we can, where are we going to go? I'm looking for the hut that's out in the middle of the swamps. But it's kind of confusing how to get there sometimes. I believe to get to the swamps, you need to go back the way we came, just a little bit. Yeah, I forget about the health potion in it. Well, it's not really a health potion. I forget about the regeneration potion in the game because it's not very good. So it's of no use to use it, actually. But during this playthrough, for the first time I looked at one of the potions, and it actually was a healing potion, a full heal. And I can't wait till we get there so I can show you. I believe that actually was chapter 4. I believe that was chapter 4 when I first see it. I was trying to go around it, but now we get stuck here and we die. Either I pause and come back somewhere. Yep, I do. Okay, so I love that that I figured out the idea to do that, where I just pause the recording and then I just get to where I was.
What is it? I'm here about the note.
Finally.
Finally, indeed.
10 wolf packs.
Wonderful. Old Leo, he was he?
Nobody.
Yes.
Who was nobody? Yeah. Farewell.
But yeah. That's one of the contracts taken care of. What else shall we do? Looking at every single quest, you can kind of tell that I'm not sure what to do now. But I believe I stay in the swamp for the rest of this episode, and I think we just go straight up with the flowers and gold bit. Taking stock of what I already have for like the Equinox contract. Seeing how much more I need of these things. I guess I'll leave this in just to show that I actually do this kind of thing. It's somewhat important. Unless it drags on too long. I don't think it should. Maybe a minute at most. We won't be able to do the Algol contract. And we have the Drowned Dead contract pretty close to finished. And the echinops contract we'll be able to do. I think that's when I start fighting the echinops when I see them. One of the times when I died and came back, the weight and gold quest, I did not redo that, so that's one that we'll have to go back and do. Also, I believe I get the Beggar Tick flowers now. So this pathway will take you out to the hut up here. You have to go off the beaten path, of course, right over to this area. But yeah, that's where the northern path out of that little village takes you. And there's a Beggar Tick flower here, and I'm just wanting to get that and go, but then an enemy spawns here, and I just figure I'll get it later. Because I want to get that one quest taken care of. I'm not the kind of person that likes to fight in games. I hate games where you have to fight. I just want to play the game. I don't want to have to fight. That's just boring to me. From this side, when you go this way, it's hard for me to figure out which way to go. I eventually remember how and where. And there's the shield. My character like almost started to die, and I was just like, what the hell? As you can see, I'm like stuck here, but eventually I do remember where you got to go. There's 2 pathways, and we had to take the first pathway to our left. But we're gonna die, so I'll definitely be coming back. Actually, this is close to the end of the episode. Actually, I don't think I do die. I think I actually make it to the camp. Yep, I do. It's quite nice. And we can, once and for all, get rid of this quest. I believe I save after doing it this time.
Ah, yeah.
Got more. What?
I'd like.
I'm not sure.
All right.
What? And I hope
knowing
my
always go on our own side.
I have Vivaldi.
What I've done for my whole life.
Vivaldi.
And as you can see, I'm saving. There's a lot of times when I believe I've saved, and that's why I don't save, and then I find out that I didn't. That's like one of the more annoying things, is when you believe you already saved. The fighting stuff is so easy, there's no need to unlock more fighting stuff. And I don't like drinking in the game or even in real life, so I see no purpose in getting the intoxicated perks. Yeah, most of the attribute stuff is taken care of. I think I go with this stuff for a while. The Ard sign, I think, has this, I think it has a build-up attack, I guess you can call it, where you hold down the button that you use to use it, and it just does a massive radial blast or something like that, if I remember right. But yeah, that's where I get all that stuff, and it looked like that dwarf was jerking off for a bit. But yeah, I really liked that shield thing, and so I just beefed it up. Alright. We get another echinops root. I believe we need 3 echinop roots, and we have 1. So fighting these regular echinops, you could probably just go, well, obviously the incineration stuff, but you can also use torch, and that usually works out quite nice as well. And that's beautiful. That one, like, killed me easily. That's where I got confused, like, why the hell do some of them, why are some of them easy and why are some of them hard? I do believe there's 2 different types of echinops. I think there's an echinops and an arachnops or something like that. There was more Beggar Tick over there, but I didn't get it, strangely enough. Or maybe I'm just fighting this before I go back. And apparently there's another enemy that I don't think I saw, but while editing this, I did see. Well, I didn't see that. I thought I saw a bloodsucker, so I guess I didn't see it. Stun does not work on it. Fire does. And this will end the episode. Will we end it with a victory or with a death? Or quite possibly even both. That might be the best outcome. A victory. Alright. I think here I actually rest till I'm healed or something. I can't remember. I think you only need to rest for 1 hour to heal in this game. But yeah, I hope you guys all enjoyed this episode. See you guys in the next one. But I hope you see you in the